Today we're talking about pigs and explosions, so subscribe if you don't want to miss out on more piggy goodness. And now, let's begin the clock. In 1859, a war broke out between the US and the UK as per usual, over the San Juan Islands. The reason for this particular war can be found in the Oregon Treaty of June 15, 1846, which stated that the border between the US and UK be divided along the 49th parallel of north latitude to the middle of the channel, which separates the continent from Vancouver Island. Unfortunately, two straits could be considered the middle of the channel, the Harris Strait alongside the west side of the islands and the Rosario Strait alongside the east. This oversight was primarily a result of bad mapping, which didn't depict the Harris Strait at the time, but this mistake would lead to rapid escalation. Because within this context we go to June 15, 1859, 13 years after the signing of the Oregon Treaty, where Lyman Cutler, an American farmer who had moved on to San Juan Island claiming rights to live there under the Donation Land Claim Act, found a trespassing pig rooting in his garden and eating his tubers. This was not the first occurrence, but it was going to be the last, because Cutler ultimately shot the poor innocent pig, killing it and making it the single casualty of the entire war. It turned out that the pig was owned by an Irishman, Charles Griffin, who was employed by Hudson's Bay Company to run the sheep ranch on the island. He also owned several pigs that he allowed to roam freely. Cutler offered $10, the equivalent to $300, to Griffin to compensate for the pig, but Griffin was unsatisfied with this offer and demanded $100, or the equivalent of $3,000 in today's money. When British authorities threatened to arrest Cutler and evict all American settlers, they called for military protection, which was ultimately granted. However, when news broke in Washington, governments quickly rushed to quell any potential conflict, fearing a war between major powers and a joint military occupation, until the issue was resolved in 1871 was agreed upon with the signing of the Treaty of Washington. Stop the clock! And, subscribe, comment, do all the fun stuff.